Well, hello, everyone. It's great to be back on our third Thursday. We have a couple special guest speakers today. Our host today is going to be our one and only fabulous queen, Miss Tameka Peoples. And so allow me to once again welcome everybody here at the Life Project Third Thursday Special Speakers forum, our series here. And so I think tonight will be a great night for everybody. You'll get to learn some very good information, and I can't wait to hear it myself. So let me sit back, relax, and enjoy the ride. I'm gonna pass the mic to Tameka, and Tameka, you can go ahead and take over and introduce our guests, and we can go from there.
Okay, hey, thank you everybody again for joining. As you know, here at the Legacy Farming and Health Group and Legacy Taste of the Garden, we really like to bring to you guys speakers who can empower us and to move into the next level of opportunity that stems from agriculture. I'm really honored today to have with us Ms. TRACY LIGHTNER and Ms. NIKOHL Ray. They're from Building Indigenous Legacies. These two ladies have an amazing forum that really shows people how to get back into land ownership from indigenous communities, or some might call Black or African American communities. And it's really important for us to get back into that. I'm going to just lightly give an overview of who these ladies are, and then I will turn it over to them to talk more about that and to talk to the team about their program. NIKOHL is educated in property law, now owns over 25 acres of property in the southeast mountains of Oklahoma. She really has a lifelong journey in educating her community and the importance of land ownership and lifestyles. And TRACY, she's also a leader in her community, a nonprofit founder of thinkhealth.org, and she continues to inspire and transform her communities through the legacy, Building Indigenous Legacies in their company and their offerings for teaching people how to get into land ownership. So without further ado, I'll give these ladies an opportunity to talk more about themselves and their program. And I do believe, ladies, you will have the opportunity to share your screen. So let me know when you want me to stop sharing and to turn it over to you. Welcome, and I really look forward to people learning more about what you guys are doing.
Thank you, and nice to be in the room with everyone. And Tameka, we can share our screen now.
Okay, great. I'll stop sharing mine and turn it over to you, ladies. Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, so hello everyone again. My name is NIKOHL Ray, and Miss TRACY is also here as well with us. All right, so Miss TRACY, I'm gonna let you start, and I'll go ahead and finish up.
Okay, I'm TRACY LIGHTNER. I live here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. I've been here on and off for about probably going on 30 years. I have expertise in training and development, human resources, career coaching, and diversity, inclusion, and immigration for major global employers across the US and the globe. I earned a bachelor's degree in communication, one in HR management, and I am seeking my doctorate in healthcare administration. And I am the founder of a few businesses, but one highlighted here is the Black Travel Experience. I own that with my youngest daughter. And then I have a company, Thick Companies, which is an umbrella for all of my other ventures. So I also am starting a farm and will have recreation out on my property, almost 25 acres, along with NIKOHL. We purchased it around the same time. So we're currently building those efforts. And because I do have a lot of passion toward farming and so forth, I will be growing vegetables, interested in hemp, thanks to my friend and partner, NIKOHL. And then we'll definitely have hunting, hiking, fishing, camping, all of those types of recreation out in the mountains of Southeast Oklahoma, because that is also what my land will afford me to be able to do, is to offer recreation to people of color, who don't typically get that experience. So with that, I'll hand it over to NIKOHL.
All right. So again, my name is NIKOHL Ray, and I am the granddaughter of an Indigenous farmer who was also a military veteran. And that's actually where I gained a lot of my experience. Unfortunately, just lack of knowledge, he did lose his land. And that actually helped me pursue my journey of, becoming a landowner and regaining the land that we lost. I also am an adult learner. I actually specialize in adult learning in customer service. I actually am a learning specialist for the IRS right now. So I'm actually the one who you all are calling for that stimulus check. My team is handling that, and Lord knows it is stressful. We got 2 million calls in one day, so please be nice to us when you call in. Other than that, I'm very passionate about customer service, especially when it comes to people of color. I definitely think that that should definitely be an area of focus. It's something that we will be focusing on quite soon as well. In addition to that, I am a transitioning vegan. I'm very passionate about clean eating, using herbs as your method of medicine. I'm actually working towards gaining my bachelor's in science. I'm studying mycology. I love mushrooms. I'm actually working on growing my mushroom farm. So it's something I'm very passionate about. And that's actually something we talk about in our 102 course, just different industries that we can, that you can get into in farming. So again, just definitely something I'm really passionate about and like to educate other people about. All right. And Ms. Tracy, I'll let you take from here and I'll finish the last 2 slides.
Okay. All right. So NIKOHL and I formed Building Indigenous Legacies shortly after we saw through our journey that there was a need to bring our people back to the land. And through the journey, even years earlier, I'll tell my story and NIKOHL can share hers with your audience, our audience here today. So my journey, there's 2 parts to building Indigenous legacies, and there's different facets, of course, and the possibilities are limitless. So first, building Indigenous legacies, you have to kind of step back and look and see, okay, well, who are the Indigenous people? And a lot of people, because of history, we've changed from colored. Well, let's go back even further. We've changed from what, Negro, people of color, Black, Afro-American, African-American. So we've been like kind of tossed around our name. You don't see any other people called so many different names. They're usually identified to a land base, mostly where they originate from, like China, they Chinese, Africans, they come from their continent, Africa, and so forth. So we're pretty much have been the only people without a home. There may be a few others, but speaking about us, Indigenous is very important to our name, our business name. We are building Indigenous legacy. So we're trying to build upon that and educate our people of color, Black people, African American, on their history. So my history dates back centuries in this country. I found my ancestors, and they go back to the 1800s, and I'm getting into the 1700s now. So my great-great-great-grandfather gave land for the first church, school, and cemetery for people of color in Colorado County, Texas. And his name was Isaac Tolan. So Isaac Tolan left such a huge legacy. I was able to track it and trace it, and then find out that all of our people were basically farmers. So I come from a long line of people who farmed. So building Indigenous legacies is also bringing up that conversation of, okay, who are we? And when you find actually who you are, you find out, oh, you really were not Black. You really were not African American. You're actually indigenous to this land. Well, being indigenous to this land, there's so many rights and things that you're entitled to. The land is basically people, are indigenous people. And if you don't claim your status, what are you going to do? Our governmental agencies, they don't recognize Black. They tell you you're Black, but really you're Indigenous. So long story short, we're starting a conversation in groups. And when people hear building Indigenous legacies, we want them to know that is you, that is people of color. So anyway, that's my long purpose statement, but in a gist, to educate and to empower and to assist Indigenous people of color with becoming landowners. So that is basically our mission. We want to educate our people and to help them and show them how to become landowners. And once you do acquire your land, then what are you going to do with it? Because a lot of people have land now that has been handed down to them for generations, and they still are sitting on it. They do not know what to do with it. That land is money. Land is power, land is food, it's shelter, it's all of those things. So that is our purpose, is to provide education, empower our people. We will assess and access listings that are land listings that are available, mostly from private owners. So we try to match our clients with those private sellers who are offering land, and that's just as our purpose. Okay, NIKOHL.
Okay, Ms. Tracy, did you want to cover this as well? Did you want me to get this?
Oh, sure. So our land search services, because we are teaching on acquiring land, we decided to match our students or our learners with a service. It's a 3-month service that we will seek out private landowners, and our service fee is $75 for 3 months. We will match you with private sellers in 2 to 3 areas that you're interested in, either counties or states. So just know that those services are available. Our land search services along with our coursework. And we have 3 different opportunities to grow and learn in the area of land ownership that NIKOHL will be speaking on here shortly. But our land search services, we find private sellers. Anyone can go and get a real estate agent to go and get into a mortgage. Well, NIKOHL and I went the private seller route, and that's a lot of unknown knowledge that our people they're unaware of, that you can go and find a private seller and have a contract to contract for the deed. So these are services that we do offer as well.
All right, thank you, Ms. Tracy.
You're very welcome.
All right, so I'm going to go over our land ownership courses a little bit more in depth. So basically, we offer 3 different land ownership courses, as Ms. Tracy just stated. And our first land ownership course is really just for those who have not, purchased land. If you're still thinking about land, if you need to know the process of even conducting a land search, we want to educate people, even though we do these services, because you still need to know how to conduct your own land search. You still need to know what to look for before you purchase land. We even have examples of things that can go wrong if you don't do the research. And one thing we don't want people to do is purchase land and then not have a right to that land because someone sold it, and it's not something that they can legally sell. That would be a tragedy. So you just don't want to get into that. And we just want to make sure we avoid that by educating people before they even go through the process of purchasing. Our land ownership course 102 is really for those people who just purchased or inexperienced landowners. So if you've had land and you just haven't, known what to do with it, that 102 course is going to show you how you can actually develop your land, different industries that you can, make, revenue off your land, and also how to manage your land. a lot of people have land, but they don't know how to manage it. What I mean by that is, how are you going to retain that wealth? How are you going to continue, allowing your family to continue build on this legacy that you're developing for them? There's so much that goes into land ownership, and a lot of people are just not prepared for that. Who are the people you're going to staff on your land? Is it going to be family? What are their roles and responsibilities? Customer service, again, that goes hand in hand. We have to know how to talk to our consumers. We have to know how to run our books. All of those things are things we talk about in our 102 because it's so important. It goes, again, hand in hand with maintaining and controlling that wealth that you're building. And then lastly, our 301 course, is where we actually allow people to come to our land. So we do allow our attendees to come to our land and learn hands-on training of basically about the farming basics, whether that's building a fence, whether that's actually starting your farming for gardening, just different things that will help you as you start building this wealth, as you start getting into different industries. For myself personally, as I told Ms. Tracy, we're working on taking some courses on mushroom farming. I want to share that knowledge that I'm gaining from mushroom farming. I'm also into cannabis farming as well. I definitely want more people of color to get into that industry. So sharing that knowledge, hemp farming, industries that we're not privy to, that we may not even be aware of. And just the FYI reason I'm so big on mushroom farming, because I love mushrooms, I love oyster mushrooms, but 1 acre can produce 28,000 a month. So things like that, things that we're not educated on, that really can help us build that generational wealth. And then with each course, you actually do get a certification of completion, which you can use. I know sometimes with these grants and things that you may apply for, may ask for these type of things. Have you attended any of these courses? Well, you'll have that backing showing that you have taken some kind of course to educate yourself before you actually start, your process of becoming a farmer. All right. And real quick, I do want to show you all this video. Is that okay, Tameka? Just want to do a real quick video.
Of course, yes, of course. I was going to do a few questions, but absolutely, please.
Okay, and I will definitely take some questions after this. I just feel like this really solidifies our purpose. And it's actually the first video we shared in our group that we have, building Indigenous legacies. And this is really what, like I said, solidified our purpose to those who are in our organization or in our groups. And I think it's going to show. Hold on 1 second, you all. Let me see if this is going to play. Okay, so I'm going to stop sharing real quick, Tameka. Let me get this video to play for you.
One question right now, if you want, NIKOHL is preparing that video.
Yes, ma'am, you can.
Yes. So I was going to come back to your 103, 101, 103, 103 and 102 and 103 courses. So in that 101 course and the certificates that you guys offer, is this something that's, are you guys getting the certification validated kind of like at an educational curriculum level where it's been kind of certified by the state, or is this certificate just saying, hey, you've completed the course?
It's a certificate of completion. And soon, it's not accredited or anything like that. It's our certificate of completion now.
Sure.
Getting certified by the state, that will come. NIKOHL and I have just started our journey with our courses. So even though we have taught at higher levels with employers, through our employers, we're very apt with our curriculum. We have curriculum, it's written out. We have a curriculum that you can see from our website and so forth, but we're not at that point yet. We will be seeking that, yes.
Yes, and some of the reasons why I kind of am drawing that thread, right, is because very often when I look at our counterpart communities, right, when we talk about land ownership, farming, apprenticeship programs, when we think about collectives like this, like the Legacy Farming and Health Group, and why we all kind of come together in this space, these are the things that we would like to look at to begin supporting and bringing forth to become certified apprenticeship programs for, Indigenous farmers to kind of go through these processes, and then as they go into that next stage, right, either seeking the loan or seeking the grant to get their land, we can point back to this, these types or these levels of certification. And so I love the fact that you guys have the curriculum, you have models where it shows completion, and then thinking about groups like this and having to understanding perhaps how we work together and support, that mutual support to see this actually become something that is pointed to as, hey, someone has gone through this process and now they're ready to own that land and take the next stage with their farm and do these sorts of things. So it was a question of, hey, I'm glad you guys are thinking about that, and then how can we encourage that? Because this is exactly, I think, what we need for our communities when we get back into this finding our land and owning our land and then profiting off of our land.
Correct. And you're right. We do need to have a level of a degree where state and governmental entities can come back and say, okay, you've been through this process, therefore you qualify for this grant. This was part of the journey for you to get that funding or something. So yes, that's something along the lines we will seek to get state certification, rights, approval, or however they deem that, to become certifiers in a sense. So yes, that is something that's going to be forthcoming, but that is a process. So we definitely felt the urgency and a need. There's a land grab that I am sure that about, with Bill Gates purchasing so much farmland, and so many other people now looking for land, and I'll speak on that later. But I think NIKOHL is ready. But yes, that's something that we will look forward to down the line.
Yes, ma'am. All right. So I want to share a video real quick, and then we're going to talk about something that we're going to be rolling out. You all are actually going to be the first to know about this campaign that we are doing. But this, again, video just solidifies what our purpose is and what we're trying to do. So let me just play this real quick. Hold on 1 second, y'all. Make sure I got it at the beginning. There we go.
I'm not hearing any sound. If you might want to unmute if there is sound with this, sweetie.
Okay, I think is it not? Oh, there we go.
Was land, and they believed they were entitled to it. As Virginia Freedman Bailey Wyatt put it, our wives, our children, our husbands has been sold over and over again to purchase the lands we now locate upon. For that reason, we have a divine right to the land. General Sherman's Field Order 15 seemed like a dream come true. 40,000 freedmen were settled on 400,000 acres of land along the seacoast from South Carolina to Florida. Many freed people thought the federal government was going to grant 40 acres and a mule to every freed family. The dream of land ownership did not last. Less than a year after Field Order 15, President Johnson ordered nearly all the land in the hands of the government returned to its former owners. The head of the Freedmen's Bureau, General Oliver O. Howard, was ordered to announce the news to the freedmen. Free people were outraged. News spread along the Sea Islands. Opposition grew. Free people organized themselves, vowing to stand together and refuse to work for the white landowners. Howard appealed to Congress, but by the end of 1865, more than half of the land in the Sherman Reserve was back in the hands of whites. Many of the freedmen had no choice but to sign labor contracts, putting them back to work, though not as slaves, for white landowners.
All right. So I wanted to share that video real quick because, again, that was one of the first videos that I actually shared. And I actually love the Reconstruction Project. They shed a lot of light on things that happen to people of color. They provide a lot of knowledge that are not in books, and they talk a lot about us being Indigenous. So it's really a good resource to go look at if you are trying to find out about being Indigenous. They provide a lot of information. But I want to share my screen because, again, that video goes hand in hand with our movement that we are working on. So building Indigenous legacies is a movement within itself. But we are building the 1 million Indigenous farmers movement. And what that means is we're going to return 1 million farmers back to the land. In 1920, there were nearly 1 million farmers. Now there is, I believe, 45,000. And that's heartbreaking. So there is no reason why we should not own land. There's no reason why we should have lost our land. So we are starting a movement because, again, land is available and it is our land. It was land that was taken from our ancestors and we are returning to that land. And as Ms. Tracy said, there is a land grab. There are quite a few of us who are actually returned to the land. There are a lot of people of color who have already returned to the land. And we just want to make sure that we allow or at least assist other people of color who are interested in becoming landowners to be able to do so. All right. And I'll stop sharing.
Wow.
And that is our presentation.
That is powerful, ladies. Very powerful. So with the courses, can you, would you mind bringing up your screen to the slide of the courses, please? And I want to ask some questions regarding those, just so people can get a good sense of, one, what's available, how do they sign up? And then, are these courses offered virtually, which I'm sure they are, right? And then you also talk about your in-person capabilities. So the slide is up showing the land ownership courses that you ladies teach from 101, 102, 301. How can people sign up and how often do you have these courses and are they virtual or in person?
Yes, ma'am. So that land ownership course is actually 201. So it's 101, 201, 301. I was rushing, so forgive me. But those courses are available. I know we started out with a Thursday and was it, Ms. Tracy, correct me, Tuesday and Thursday?
Tuesday and Thursday, but because of people's schedules, yeah, we're gonna switch that up some. And do you mind, NIKOHL, going live to our site so they know?
Oh yeah,
exactly
definitely.
Okay, thank you.
Definitely. Let me pull this up real quick.
In our team today, we have a mixed crew, right? So there's some people on the line that own land already, looking to expand land, some amazing landowners. I know Mr. Tut's online and Mr. Jameson, him and his family own land. And obviously, we're always encouraging people to become part of the land again. We always sometimes in these terms speak about farm, but what we're really saying is own land, right? From that land you can farm and also, have a livelihood. So please, yes, your courses are here and you can talk a bit about those. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. And just to kind of speak on what you just said, right? You don't have to be a traditional farmer. You can use your land for industrial purposes. You can use your land for some commercial purposes, so many different things. I mean, there are so many. If you don't want to mess with cows and horses and sheep and goats like myself, because I don't mind the smell. I love it. But if you don't care for that, go make you some beer and go food with barley. It's so many different industries you can get into with land. So you don't have to be a farmer. You don't have to worry about the stinkiness if you don't like that kind of stuff or the bugs. But our website is what our name is, buildingindigenouslegacies.com. And when you come to the course, you do see that land ownership course 101 is available. 201 is not available as of yet. Right now, we've been working with a lot of attendees who don't own land. They're just trying to get into the process of becoming a landowner. So we haven't had anyone yet. Actually, we did have one person who did own land, but she still took the 101 course and just gained, some more information about how to obtain land and things like that. But we are going to be having our 201 course soon. We're actually getting ready to roll that out pretty soon. And we have quite a few people from our first course who are interested in it. And we want to get some other people who may have land into that course as well.
And so it's a 4-hour course over each one of those 3 days. For instance, in that landowner 101, is that 4 hours divided amongst the 3 days, Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday? Is that how that works?
So it's a 1-day course. It's 4 hours, and I'll show you all our syllabus for that, which is also on our page that you can visit. So as you can see here, we do a land ownership course 101. This is from our last course. We only have 50 seats available. And the course starts out of, well, it's actually $199 investment. And as it tells you, our goal is to educate people on land ownership, to create thousands of new landowners, and to also be a resource for people of color, providing the necessary tools for their success. And then it just goes into more details about what you can obtain from that course. And as you can see, we talk about who we are. We discuss the importance of land ownership. We talk about what factors are important before purchasing land, the 5 major things you should know before you buy. We talk about planning for your property. So we go into a lot of different things. That 4 hours is full. So bring your notepads, bring your questions, and we do have discussions, very in-depth discussions that some may seem controversial, but they're very necessary conversations that we should be having within our community.
And you guys do this virtually, right? So we talked about that. Now, can you talk to us a little bit about that first course? I know me and you first talked, Tracy, you described how impassioned and how much knowledge and exchange was happening in that initial one-on-one course, and the things that people were learning about what they should and shouldn't be doing when they're purchasing land. What are some of those key findings or that feedback from some of the first course attendees with the land ownership one-on-one?
So one person told us that we need to make it longer. Oh yeah, I would definitely do that.
Some of our feedback. People
Okay.
did not want the course to end. I was just spent because talking 5 hours or 4 hours. Well, we talked really 5 hours straight. It was wonderful. It was the course. It just gave. Not only did we give, but we also received from our clients, because, you know, although that they learned the discussion and having that bit of exchange was beautiful, because they learned not just about land ownership, but like I said, their indigenous element. They learned that day who they were. You know, some of them had already went on that journey to finding their ancestors, and they were able to pull up records to see their birth certificates say, well, you're Negro. Well, who were the Negroes? They were the copper-colored people in Webster's Dictionary of 18, I forget the date, but Webster's Dictionary called us copper-colored back then. That's how, when they the Europeans came over, they identified that there were copper-colored people here. Well, who are the copper-colored people? That was us. And what did they name us after that? They named us Negroes and everything else, like I discussed earlier, to keep us away from claiming our indigenous legacy. Because with indigenous, you have rights. You do not have a right if you're Black. You do not have a right if you're African American. You do not have a right if you go by color. And in this course, I gave away some great nuggets. I won't give them out here, but there was some excellent nuggets, because after this course, they were empowered to go even change their ethnicity. I'm on that journey to complete mine, to become indigenous again. That's a whole nother process. That's a whole nother process. So I can't speak enough about our course, because a lot of people have been on this journey for decades and not knowing really who they are. Who are you? Who are you tied to? I know for 20 something years, I have been on my own journey, and most people don't know who their great grandparents are. Well, I was able to go back. NIKOHL has gone back to the 1700s. I'm almost in the 1700s. Some people can't go back a generation or two, but I was able to find my people, and we talk a lot about that.
So we do have another question in the queue, which I think you ladies really look forward to hearing from this. Mr. Keith Spears asked, what areas do you match private land sellers to potential land buyers, i.e. in the Midwest? Is it national that you do these matchings?
Yes,
And I
national.
just answered him, yes.
It'll be national. Yes.
I'm sorry, I thought I would give you an opportunity to answer it live, but it is a national search that these ladies do in order to match landowner and private seller and private buyer, which is great.
Exactly.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay.
Sorry, I'm trying to make sure I keep up with the chat and then also kind of guide the discussion. So with the process of you all actually acquiring your land and turning this into a knowledgeable, shareable course material, I just really thought it would be imperative that one, we bring this knowledge to our team, right, and bring it to other landowners, people who are interested in this space, because I see a Blacksidus, right? I see Indigenous folks, Black African American people coming back, young, old, really coming back to this idea of, I want a land, I want a place for which I can have and pass on to my children's children. I know one of the things we even teach as a part of this is that succession planning piece, but you first have to start with the ownership piece. So thank you, ladies, very much for sharing. Is there any other questions out there? We'll make sure to respect and then, take advantage of the knowledge that's kind of here in this room.
Hey, Tameka, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
All right. I have two questions, if I may.
Yes, sir.
First question is Indigenous something that you claim or something you have to prove?
That's a great question. You have to do both.
Right.
And how you start that is doing your paperwork. And I don't know, you may want to Google this. I'll give you this nugget. You need to Google paper genocide, because that is exactly what was committed to us as a people, paper genocide. Now, as you know, our Caucasian people, they keep excellent records, always have. They had, what do you call it, manifests and documents for every person who was enslaved or whatever. A lot have been destroyed or lost over the years, but usually you can go back and there are places that have a vast amount of information online, and it's not your DNA. I don't want to get so much into this online, but yes, it's both. You have to prove it and you have to claim it. And those are processes that we talk about in our course. It's both of those.
Okay. And then my second question is, in terms of private sellers, outside of the obvious of you're not competing against the public market for property or to identify property, are there other advantages that come with working with or sourcing out private sellers?
I would say, I have built a house, so I have dealt with the real estate and I've dealt with a private seller, so I've done both. And I must say, dealing with the private seller has been so much easier than it ever was to obtain a mortgage and go through that process. So the private seller, a contract, it was like that. And it's just a contract for deed. And I didn't have to have a huge nest egg in order to get started with it. So, it just depends on what you want to do. You can purchase it off right off the bat, or some sellers let you make payments. And there are some sellers, I may share this with you, who will let you put down as little as $199. So it just depends.
Yeah. And I just want to
Private
add to that,
sellers.
most of the sellers that we work with, they don't require a high credit score or even a credit score at all. So
Huge benefit.
And
On
I'm
the private.
I'm sorry, I said two questions. I'm gonna stop after this one. I'm assuming these private sellers are folks that are actively looking for buyers, or are they cold calls for people that own property or land?
So I'll just say for most of the companies that we work with, they've been around for a long time. Some of them are families that own land, large acres of land, that they are selling. But as far as cold calling, no, we don't do cold calling. We build real relationships with private sellers so that way we can truly keep a true idea of what they have available. But no, we don't do cold selling.
Okay, thank you. Thanks for your time.
Yeah, sure. And just to add to what NIKOHL is saying, since we just gotten started and have offered our courses, people have started coming to us now. So pretty soon you'll see a database of where we will have land that we're tracking our private sellers and what's available. So as we grow, people will learn about us and will say, hey, I have some land. You have someone who maybe has taken your course looking for land, or somebody might just come and purchase our land search services, and they'll have that land available. They'll be able to see from our database as we go along, but that is a growth element. We have to grow, and I've had like 2 people with the last 2 weeks just come to us as a company and offer their land, telling us that they have land for sale.
Wow.
So I hope that.
Thank you again.
I'd like to ask a quick question. I was going to raise my hand, but as being the host, it doesn't allow me to do that. So my question is, dealing with heirs property, do you guys help with individuals with heirs property as far as your land management? That's one of the biggest issues that we have, that we've seen with people in our group and stuff, that stuff has been passed down from generation to generation. There's no one who's legally on the title, so they most of the time they have issues with that. And then you have the youth that don't know anything about the land, and their only thought is to figure out how they can sell it for quick money. So I noticed that you talked about the management part of that. Does your course help tap into that area to be able to assist those individuals? Because we have so many people out there of our people who have that, and so many of them are losing. So we're trying to, as you say, gain back the million farmers and growers that we had and not lose anything. So that's my question.
Well, I'll speak on that right quick. NIKOHL, you can kind of chime in, but NIKOHL and I offer a service on land ownership. We can't stretch so far into where it comes to legalities. We're not attorneys, we're not real estate, we're not realtors or anything like that. So anything legal, we're always going to advise people seek, legal advice. But, can we discuss it, and can we touch upon topics that pertain to heirs property? Sure. NIKOHL, you have something to say?
I just want that, because it's actually something that you touched on our last course at the end. So we do have partnerships that we work with as far as I'm not gonna get into it, but trusts, that will be something to talk about or discuss. And we definitely discussed that in our course in depth about getting you a trust. So again, that's something Ms. Tracy loves to talk about, and we're in the process right now of ourselves to do that. But that's definitely something that would help secure, your land.
That's great.
And that's a good nugget that you
Yeah.
Yes, that is a nugget.
right,
Y'all got me ready to sign up, let me
Yeah.
tell you. And sponsor 5 more people too.
one last question. The new administration is talking about giving individuals 160 acres, especially our people, 160 acres. Are you guys looking at tapping into that as far as your business or anything? And the reason why I'm asking, because our people are going to be looking for who can get us in and everything. So my thing is that as we say here, we're not in competition with each other, we're in support of one another. And so, you know, I want our people to be able to know who they can go to, who's coming out, who's doing what. You know, I'm not asking for any trade secrets or anything, but just so that those who listen will be able to say, okay, this might be someone who I might want to tap into or at least inquire about.
But just kind of going back on our 1 million farmers movement, that is actually something we are doing. We're working on, it's a campaign to build up other farmers like ourselves, but also to obtain a few hundred acres of land to be able to provide for our million farmers.
Come through. Okay, good to know. John is always asking those. I can't tell you too much, but I can tell you enough questions.
Right.
I want to know if it's a thumbs up or a thumbs down. So yeah, that's good. I'm about.
Right.
I'm used to hosting, and I will take over. So I'm gonna shut up and give it back to Tameka. Tameka, you back on.
No, John, we appreciate your question. You know, you already rubbed me a little wrong, John, talking about those Cowboys.
Oh, no. You know, the Texans don't come for you talking about the Cowboys now. We'll talk offline. No, I'm just kidding. So, listen, I don't see any more questions in queue. I will just say for myself, I really appreciate what you ladies are bringing to the table. I have over the years, it's literally why I'm part of this group, Legacy Innovation Farming and Health Group, because we have to get back to this piece. I've not owned land ever. I used to live on my grandfather's farm. He lost that, you know, and so, you know, at some point, maybe this is the Renaissance. The Renaissance I think, should be about land. So the courses that you ladies offer, I thank you for sharing the information about how to reach them, and maybe perhaps one more time, just share the screen, or let's share within the group and chat. The website is building Indigenous Legacies. Thank you. This is your contact information, email, how to reach these ladies, and their website. They offer these courses. I'm going to speak for myself, right? I want to learn these things, and I really look forward to learning more of those things in your course. So thank you so much for sharing this evening, and I'll leave the parting words to you ladies.
Yes, and Tameka, first of all, thank you for the platform. I definitely appreciate it. Thank you for reaching out. Thank you all for even listening to us and allowing us to share the information that we provide within our courses and our company.
Thank you so much. Thank you, ladies.
I ditto that. Thank you for the opportunity. It's been a pleasure. Please, if you know, we haven't, I think, posted our new dates. I think we'll have dates available maybe perhaps toward the end of April, and definitely in May. But feel free to reach out to us. And if you need help with registration, it's really clear on our website. And NIKOHL, if you'll just bring that up, starting at the first screen first, and just show them one more time where they can go to register when we and check back when we have open courses. Feel free to do that. It's very important. I believe our missions are aligned. We want to see our people succeed. We want to see our people progress. And how do we do that? It's all about the land. It's always been about the land. That is why they have done so much to keep you away regarding your ethnicity. It's all about who you are. It has been paper genocide. And I'll close with that. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Yes, yes.
Thank
And
you so much, ladies.
just to let you know, if you all are wanting to get onto our website, from here you can actually click on land ownership course, or you can just go to course registration. They'll take you right there.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much. And John, any parting words? Thanks for this informative session. You're so welcome. Mr. Spears, are really always happy to have everyone join.
I just want to say thank you guys for coming on. You know, this was very informative, and I'm definitely going to inquire about it. I am not endorsing or anything else. I'm just saying this is the direction that I'm looking at going. But I just want to tell you guys that, number one, that you guys are family now. So anytime that you guys got any updates or anything else, feel free to come on and share with us. If you got anything that you want us to be able to put on our website about some of the stuff that you're doing, that's part of the stuff that we're gearing that up to be able to do, to be able to share what the different individuals in our groups are doing, what they're offering. Because as I said, we're not in competition with each other, we're in support of one another. And so with that mindset in mind, you know, like I said, just want to welcome you guys to the family, and however we can help you guys, we'll be more than happy to. So
eat more beef.
I knew Joe Collin get it there eventually.
Yeah,
I saw
Mr. Joe, Mr. Collin.
yeah, I saw him popping up over there. But with that being said, if there's no more questions or anything, like I said, just want to thank you guys to come here. You know, I love the name when you got legacy in it. You know, we're Legacy Taste of the Garden, Legacy Farming and Health Group. When you got legacy in there, you know, that means you're part of the family. So I appreciate everything. I appreciate everybody coming on. And for those who get a chance to watch it, I guess Darrell, Chef Joseph, got a quick question. So go ahead, Darrell.
Yeah, very interesting. Yeah, you know, it's all good. What you're saying is exactly right. When you look at this thing in the, and I'm sorry to start so late. When you look at it, it is really the truth. We don't know who we are, you know. And when you start the language that you all speak and going back into your actual status is actually correct. I'm actually working on that process as we speak, and it is true. Yeah, it's it. And once we can piece that together, that's when, you know, a lot of things will be destroyed as far as our belief systems, etc. I'll leave that alone. But website, how do you? How did you? Because I'm not too familiar with Zoom. I mean, I know how to work Zoom, but how do we go to your website to register for the course or anything that you were saying? What is the website again? Or can someone share it with me? Thank you.
Yes, sir. And I'll put it in the chat as well.
I was about to say, I'll throw it in the chat, and it's.
I know I'm talking fast, but it's so exciting. That's why, because this is the truth.
So again, if you are on our homepage, you can literally click on this land ownership course, $199, I'm sorry. And this will take you right to our actual course page. But again, if you want to just click here to get to the course registration, that'll also take you there. You can come to our course syllabus. So that way, before you sign up, you can kind of get an idea of what you're actually going to be learning. So let me just pull that up real quick. All right. And then one last thing, I know we touched on the 1 million farmers. Again, a lot of our information is within our website. You can come here, you can learn about our farms. It'll actually take you to our social media sites. In addition to that, we give you further information about the courses that we offer. So I do definitely encourage everybody just to go explore that, learn a little bit more about who we are and what we're doing, and definitely join the movement.
Say less, as they would say. All right, thank you, ladies. And John, I think you have the controls here to end out, but I really appreciate you. I'm really looking forward to connecting beyond this, and we'll be in touch.
All right, and thank you, Tameka. You did an excellent job as always. So really appreciate that also. Keith, I got your message. I'll be looking forward to that. So for everybody else, I appreciate you guys being here, and I wish you guys the best. Look forward for our next meeting on the first Thursday of May. And we'll continue to try to bring you guys the very best that we have in our communities to support us in our efforts. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
You.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
See ya.